Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather. I just want to say Happy Easter to everybody. Today is Sunday, April 17th, so it's actually Easter Sunday. So today I am in my house, my kitchen, cooking Easter dinner. So I will show you what I've gotten so far. I couldn't show some of my prep work. My husband was still home, so just give me 1 second and I'll go back into the kitchen and show you what I was doing. And here I've got my turkey. It's cooking. Oh, sorry, the steam is going to fog it up. So I just have my turkey in a roasting pan, and I've got my thing set to convection roast at 425. My temperature is telling me it is cooked, but it doesn't look cooked, so I'm going to have to move my thermometer just to, you see, it's flashing, telling me it hit the temperature, but I know it has not been in long enough for it to be cooked. So I will be checking that in a second. And over here in my slow cooker, I have got my ham. Well, this is one of these, it's the spiral cut bone in. I get them from Walmart. They're around $18 to $25, depending on, kind of like, the price varies depending on when you buy it and how big they are. I like to get a pretty good size ham. These ones are already cut, and it comes with the little packet of spice, like a brown sugar spice thing, and then I add to the top of it, to give it some liquid, I do half a cup of water, a good drizzle of honey, and a good drizzle of maple syrup. So I've got that. Just making sure my lid is back on. I do know with the slow cookers, when you open up, you let all the steam out, and then it takes longer for your stuff to cook, or it has trouble cooking. So don't like to lift up too much once you've got your slow cooker cooking. I'm also going to be doing the asparagus, so I've already cut the ends off. They are ready to be cooked. I've got my cranberries here. I just rinsed them. I'm ready to make the cranberry sauce. I'll be doing that in just a couple of minutes. And then over here in this pot, I've got my yam, and it's all mashed, or almost mashed. You can see some chunks still. I'm working on that. I added some maple syrup. I don't think I added the brown sugar yet. No. So I have to do a little more maple syrup and some brown sugar and mash them up just a little bit more. And then I'm kind of cheating on the salad. I bought this salad. This is a pretty good one. So the price, $14, 50% off. So $7, cheaper than a head of lettuce right now. So it's pretty good. I don't even know what kind of salad we grabbed. And I don't even think we even grabbed the little free salad dressing packs or the croutons that we're supposed to get with it.
I don't know.
It's okay, I've got croutons in the cupboard. And then my daughter is making these cute little tartlets with the lemon jello pudding. And then to make it like a meringue on top, we're going to make a pouch of the Dream Whip. Like I said, my husband was home, so we couldn't do any really recording. And then I've got, let's see. What else? I've got to grab everything else out, and I'll be right back. Alright, then I've got the Brussels sprouts, which I've cut in half, and I've drizzled with olive oil, ready to get put in the oven. Same with the baby carrots. I've drizzled them with maple syrup, and I sprinkled cumin and ginger. And then I've got these little tri-colored baby potatoes. I drizzled them with the oil. I haven't put the salt on yet, so I will be doing that in a moment. I think, yeah, so I didn't add, right, because I forgot to add the salt and pepper to this stuff as well. So I will be doing that in one moment. And then for gravy, I'm doing I'm just going to be using a pack of gravy mix. It saves time. Same with the stuffing this year. I'm actually just bought the box stuffing this year. Just sometimes simplify it. Sometimes, it's making dinner for, 14 people, 13, 14 people.
13.
Just want to simplify. If you can use boxed or canned anything to save yourself some time, I say go for it. Like I buy the little mini carrots already, shaped this size. To cut down on potatoes, I buy the mini potatoes, and I'll try to get the tricolor just to give a color variety. And then the asparagus and the Brussels sprouts are really easy to cook as well. Yeah, sorry, this is just the old fridge in my garage because sometimes the fridge doesn't have enough room, but there we made deviled eggs this morning. I sprinkled with paprika. As you can see, some got a little more paprika than others. That happens. And then here are the little tartlets that my daughter made with the lemon pudding, and then she will be making the meringue type topping for on top of those shortly. So I'm just gonna go back to the kitchen and finish what else I have to do. I've got my Himalayan pink salt. It comes in its own grinder. Just grinding some of this up and sprinkling it on. Just a second. It's kind of hard to do this one hand. There we go. My stand wants to tip sometimes. Okay, so with the Himalayan pink salt, I'm going to put some salt on the carrots and put this in the oven. Put some salt on the potatoes. I already added the pepper. Some salt, potatoes, and put that in the oven. And the Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts. I've already added the pepper, and I'm just adding some salt. And I'll put these in the oven. Okay, so I've got these in the oven. I've got them on my convection roast at 350 degrees. So I don't have them covered. I will put some tin foil on them in just a moment. I just like to get them in there to start cooking for a couple minutes, and then I will cover them. So now I'm going to be getting everything I need to make the cranberry sauce. Well, I said I was going to do the cranberry sauce, but I need this pot, so I've got to finish my yams that I've got here. So I've already chopped them and cooked them. Now I'm mashing them, and I've added a 1/4 cup of brown sugar and quite a good amount of maple syrup. I use a lot of maple syrup in my Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter dinners. I just find it's just a different taste than just using honey. I do use honey a lot in my baking too, but I find some of these dinners, to make them extra special, the maple syrup just adds something more. And I do, like I said, I also mix a bit of brown sugar, and I also use a lot of cumin. I like the taste of the maple syrup or honey, brown sugar, and cumin. I didn't add any cumin to this. I don't think I will. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't think this time, because I did a lot of syrup and the brown sugar. These are mashed pretty good. Oh, I gotta add a little bit of warm milk. That's what I didn't add yet either. So just gotta go and warm up some milk just to help get this a little more creamy. So I'm just gonna finish doing this a little bit, and when I get back, I will now be making the cranberry sauce. Okay, I am back. I'm gonna be making my cranberry sauce. Now the basic cranberry sauce is just 3 ingredients. It's cranberries, sugar, and water. So it's 3 cups of cranberries, 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar. So you start with making the simple simple syrup. Yes, simple syrup is what it's called. So add in your water. Now, I accidentally defrosted more cranberries than I thought, so I am making a really big amount of, what am I doing? I'm trying to turn my stove on. So I've got to make a really big batch. So it's I usually do 6 cups of cranberries, 2 cups of water, 2 cups of sugar. Well, this year I defrosted both bags of cranberries, and they were the larger size this year. So I actually have about 12 cups of cranberries. So I'm actually making like a 4-time recipe. That's why I've got 4 cups of water, and I've already measured out 4 cups of sugar. And then you get this going. Stir this. You gotta get this going. Gotta get the, oh. Just drop that on top of the wire, on top of the, oh, sorry, my daughter is making her fancy dessert and she just dropped the hand mixer. And just dropped all the lemon meringue pie, tart she was making, and she's got to fix a couple. Okay, so I'm just waiting for this sugar to melt into the water. Yeah, you can put it in the freezer. And I'm just waiting for this to dissolve. So I get all the sugar to dissolve. I've made other ones in the past where I've done like with fresh squeezed orange juice. You take your oranges, you squeeze the orange juice, or even pre-made orange juice and other stuff. And I just say I like the basic cranberry sauce. This is the easiest one, not complicated. If you can dissolve sugar into water, and then you just add your cranberries and let them cook until they start popping, and that is it. You're basically done. It's all dissolved. I think it's all dissolved. Nice. It hasn't heated. I'm just trying to wait for it. No, just waiting for it to heat a little more before I add all my cranberries. Oops, while this is heating, I'm just going to grab the lid. And behind me, because I've been don't know how many sinkfuls of dishes I have already done today. Just gonna hit this until it heats up. It's starting to heat now. It's just, I like to wait till it starts to heat before adding the cranberries, and it just kind of makes it cook a little faster. So then you just add the cranberries to the simple syrup, which is basically what you're making when you've got your water and sugar. You get a really nice little simple syrup. And then you let them cook for, I'm not quite sure the exact minutes anymore. I'll write down in the description box the exact amount of time. I don't know for sure. I gotta look that one up in a moment. I know the basic recipe, but I don't know how long to cook it for. So then I know you let it cook until they stop popping, and then you cover and you let them simmer for another 5 minutes. So I think it's 2 minutes and then 5 minutes, but I will just have to look that up and double check that. So now this is starting to heat. I see the steam, so now I'm going to add my cranberries. Just don't want to splash anything. Cook these till they start to pop. And then you've got a couple different things. Like I know sometimes I leave them as the whole berries, partially popped. Other times I'll even mash them more to get more of a liquid cranberry sauce. But I like it somewhere in the middle. I like where they've all popped and some may have become more mashed and some are still look more whole. So it kind of just depends on what you prefer for cranberry sauce. They're in their syrup cooking. And my stove is just not heating up as fast as it was earlier. So I'm just going to let these continue to cook, and I will be back as they are, you know, closer to being done. Alright, so I've got the cranberries are now on, they've now boiled. I went and I checked the recipe. Yes, I was supposed to get the sugar and the water to boil before adding the cranberries. I make cranberry sauce like maybe 3-4 times a year. Sometimes I quickly scanned the recipe, but I guess I kind of didn't read it. So I was just looking for the amount that I need. So I kind of messed up on that little step. Just don't want it to boil over. Okay, so now that I've got the cranberries back up to a boil, I've turned it down to a medium temperature, and I'm going to put the lid on. But I'm just going to wait a second to let some more of this foamy stuff boil down before I put the lid on, or else it's going to boil all over my stove. So then you just let this simmer. It takes about, on here for about 7 to 10 minutes. So I will be back in about 10 minutes to show you what it looks like. I think I can put this on now. There we go. So I said I'll be back in about 10 minutes to show you what the cranberry sauce looks like. Alright, so while I was waiting for the cranberries to cook, I've got in here, I've got my asparagus. So I've already cut them up and I put them in here, and then I cook them in my microwave. I forgot to show, but mine up here for cooking fresh vegetables is sensor 2. So I press sensor 2, hit start. So they've been in here probably about 3 or 4 minutes. So now I've got my asparagus is cooked. I've cooked asparagus before. I've shown how I've done it before, but I meant to show it, but I was busy doing so many things at one time that you kind of forget. So there is the steamed asparagus all done. Wire's getting cooked on the drawers. Okay, then everything in here is done. I'm just going to turn this off. I'm just going to keep my thing on if I can find it. On here, where is it? There is a warming, oh there it is, warm and hold there. So I've got my potatoes. I'll show everything in here. I just set my yams in here just because I needed the counter space just now. And under here I've got the Brussels sprouts, so they are done. And then down here I've got the carrots, and they are done, and the little mini tri-color potatoes, and they are done. So all that stuff in the oven is done. So I'm just going to put my asparagus on in a dish, and I'm just going to set them in the oven as well to keep warm. So here is the cranberries. They're still not, I just checked them, they're still not quite ready. So, you know, they're about 3 or 4 minutes. Sometimes it takes a little longer. I think it's because I'm making such a big batch of them this time. So I will be back when the cranberry sauce is done. While I wait for my cranberry sauce to do what it's supposed to do, it boiled over. I had to clean the stove, so I forgot to turn the burner on, so it has to come back to a new boil. So I said I'm going to be making my gravy. So I'm using these little pouches today. So I've got 2 that are the turkey, 1 mushroom, and 1 onion. Not turkey, mushroom and onion. So the turkey and the mushroom is 1 cup each. The onion is 1 1/4 cup. See, there it goes, my cranberry sauce. It just wants to keep boiling up over. It just doesn't want to thicken. I don't know. I'm just going to stir it back down. Again. Try that again. Okay. So onion 1 is 1 1/4 cups water. So when I do my mixes, like whether it's gravy or sauces, I like to whisk the product in the water. So I'm gonna measure out 1 1/4 cups. So I've got my 4-cup measure here. Just gotta figure out where 1 cup I gotta find the line for the 1 1/4 cup. That's a little tricky to find. One and a quarter cup. Add the onion, mix, and whisk this up. Just move my camera down a little more like that. There. I always find it is easier if you just take that second or so, or whatever, a couple seconds, and just kind of mix the powder in the liquid, and then you kind of prevents lumps. I'll pour that into my pan, and I'm going to do that a couple more times. So now this time I'm going to do I can go up to the 2 cups. Got it up to the 2 cups, and I'll do a mushroom, and the turkey, and this only takes about 5 or so minutes. Once you start to turn it on, just got to adjust the temperature. Bring to boil over medium heat. So I'm going to turn my burner on and turn it up to a medium heat. This will be the 2 mixes. And I've got 1 more to do just because I want to make like about 4 cups of gravy is a good start when you're making a big dinner like this. Sometimes I'll even have to, when I've got company over, I may have to make another couple pouches of gravy. I think I had to do that last time because there was so many people here. And I'm not so worried if there's a few little lumps in here. I can mix them, but I'm just trying to get so it kind of speeds it up. If you kind of dissolve the powder into the liquid before you pour it into the saucepan. Just move all these little pouches out of my way. And get to reach the last one. And now I just made a big mess with all this powdered gravy all over my counter and stove, which I just finished wiping off after the cranberry sauce went everywhere. Just gonna whisk this in. Leave the lid off of the cranberry sauce now because I'm standing right here beside it. So it says you bring to boil over medium heat, stirring occasionally, then you simmer for 1 minute. Now to this I'm also going to add my own spice blend because I usually find these store-bought gravies, they're a basic gravy. They're okay, but they're just kind of a bland tasting. I'm just gonna wipe up this stuff here before I move my camera a little closer. Oops. Okay, so there's the gravy. It says I gotta bring to a boil, stirring occasionally, but just trying to make sure there's no lumps. Then what I thought was lumps is actually chunks of mushroom and onion. So that is good. Now I'm just going to let that cook for a few minutes. And I've got the cranberry sauce is still cooking because it boiled over and then it got taken off the heat and then I had to get it back up to a boil again. So it's taking a little longer for the cranberry sauce. But I'm just going to wait for the gravy to cook and the cranberry sauce to cook, and then I will be doing the stuffing. Yeah, so this is just under a cup of water for each one of these containers, and then some butter. So it doesn't take long, although I do like to do it in the microwave because it is so much faster. So I'll probably just do the stuffing in the microwave because I've got all my big pots are being used. So I will be back in just a few moments. Alright, I've decided to make the stuffing in the microwave, so I got all 4 pouches into this one large bowl. For each pouch, you need 3/4 of a cup of water, so I've got 4 pouches, so I've got 3 cups of water. Pour in water, and you need some butter. Let's see, I don't really know what it says for butter. 2 tablespoons for each one, so I'm just going to put in a bunch of scoops of butter. Oh, one more. I like the buttery taste, so that's okay. And I'm just going to put this, it says cover, so I'm just going to grab a lid. And I'm going to cover this in the microwave for about 3.5 minutes. So I'll be back in about 4 minutes. This should be done, and my gravy should be done. Alright, my gravy is done. It's all thickened. Just take it off the burner. Now I just got to add my spices to it. Quick stir because it started to clump. And I think my cranberry sauce is also done. Grab a spoon and check. I don't know, it just doesn't want to thicken. So I'm just going to leave my cranberry sauce. I'm going to set it to the side, and hopefully as it cools it will thicken. Like I said, it boiled over on me a couple times, so kind of had to get stopped cooking a few times there. Oops. Don't want to turn my burners on. Okay. So now I'm just going to get everything I need to add the spices to the gravy. So I'm just going to wipe this off right here because I spilled gravy and cranberry sauce. Okay, so just going to move my camera so you can see what I'm doing with these spices. Alright, just so I don't burn myself, because my spice racks are right behind my slow cooker, I just brought my spice racks beside me. So I'm just looking for my spices here. They're out of order again. I usually have certain ones, and here they are. This is the row I was looking for. Sometimes they just, other people use spices and then they don't put them back in the exact spot. I'm just trying to find poultry and rosemary and fennel. Okay, so what I'm using for spices is I've got fennel seed, rosemary, poultry seasoning, coriander, cilantro, sage, thyme, oregano, and basil. So I'm going to start here with my oregano and basil because they are both like almost empty. So I'm just gonna, whatever is left in them is what I'm going to be using. There we go. And then I've got some thyme. Now, I don't have a preference to powdered and sage. I don't have a preference to buying my spices either whole, ground, whatever, because I like to just, even if they're all powdered, I still put them in here just to give it, to mix the flavors better. So that was the sage, and this one's cilantro. And I don't really measure my spices. Okay, coriander. I mean, if you want, you could. I just kind of shake some in here. It's going in my gravy and my stuffing, so it's not like it matters too much, like unless you really don't like spices. There's my rosemary. Like, unless you just can't handle spices, I always go with less. Now, I'm not going to put a lot of fennel because the fennel actually has a licorice type taste to it. But I like the little hint of it. It just gives it like a little surprise taste. Then people guess about what's your secret recipe. So my couple things that I cook a lot. Oh, that was the cumin. That's what I forgot to grab too. Cumin. So it is cumin and fennel. And you can add those to a lot of things. And this is the poultry seasoning I'm adding now. But the cumin and fennel, you can add them in things and they just give a really unique flavor. And it's like a hidden flavor. It's kind of like, what's your secret to make this taste a certain way? So mine is cumin and fennel. So I don't always use them in every recipe, but because I was making the carrots with the already with the cumin in it, I just thought it'd be kind of neat to add the flavor. And I'm making a lot of this because I said I'm making this will go into the gravy and my stuffing. Now I'd say this is too much to add to my gravy. I mean, you can see how full this little bowl is. So I'm just going to mix these up. And I'm just going to go and grab the stuffing and I will pour this into bowls. So just be back in 1 second. Alright, I've got my stuffing and I got my gravy. So I'm just going to set my stuffing to the side for a second. I've got my gravy. I just got to give it one more good whisk. Just to make sure it's not getting lumpy or stuck together. Congealed, that's the word I was looking for. It doesn't get congealed. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir and then I'm just going to reach past the camera and grab the bowl and pour my gravy into the bowl, which unless I have a bowl down here. Loud. I don't know, it doesn't tell me how many cups this holds. This bowl may not be big enough. We will find out. Oh, it is big enough. I'm just going to grab a little whisk and get the rest of the gravy out of this pot. Spices are all mixed up. Set that aside so it doesn't roll off. I'm just going to sprinkle some into the gravy and sprinkle some into the. Let me just get this into so you can see it. I'm sprinkling some into the gravy and some into the stuffing, and a little more into the gravy. It's the stuffing that can really use the flavor. A little more than the gravy. I don't like, as much as I like spices, I don't like my gravy to be overpowering. I like to use the gravy just to kind of keep the meat more moist and other things more moist. I like to be able to taste the flavors of the other food. But because turkey doesn't always have a huge flavor, I do like a little bit of gravy to have flavors. When I'm dipping the turkey in the gravy, then I get some flavor. But I love the stuffing to be really, really flavorful. I'm by adding your own spices and stuff if you want. You could chop up an onion and some celery into your stuffing, even though it's a box stuffing. Nobody's going to notice if you add your own things and spice it up a little different. Then it won't taste like the standard boxed stuffing. I'm just going to use the seam spoon and stir my gravy. So I've got my gravy done and my stuffing and everything else, just waiting on the ham and the cranberry sauce. I'll be checking on my turkey. I was surprised that it was saying that it was done, but I will be checking on it, and it should be done right away too. Well, it's done. I have it sitting on the counter, so I'll just put it back in the oven to warm it up a little more. I'll take everything else out of the stove, and I'll put the turkey back in. And I still got to check on the ham, because I think the ham, I can't quite read the clock from here. Behind me. I don't know, I can't, the angle I'm at and where the clocks are, I cannot read them, but I think the ham should be done in about half an hour if I've got it right timing in the slow cooker. So I will check on it in just a couple minutes. So I will be back in a few minutes when I've got everything ready for you to see what I have made. Alright, so I've got everything almost done, but I've got my little cookie platter that I want to make. So I've got this bowl, or not bowl, I've got a plate here, and it's got 4 spots plus the little circle one here. It's good for veggies and dip and stuff, but I like to use this for a fancy cookie platter. So I got these cookies, and they are the little ones are vanilla cookies, and the center of them is supposed to be taste like cotton candy. So the little icing inside is purple. Roll of these here. I'm just going to do a quick little sample platter. I'll add more. Then I got this other one, which is also a new one. I've never seen this one. And it's a French vanilla, so it's coffee flavored cookies with the vanilla cream. The cookies to me look like the little chocolate chip cookies, but that is probably not chocolate chips. That is probably chunks of coffee beans. These are the ones I really wanted to try. They're good. It does. The cookie kind of reminds me of like an oatmeal cookie. It's a little bit thicker than these kind of ones. So that's good. Put some of these here. And when I first set them up, I just put a few in here just to kind of hold the spots. And I'll add more cookies as I come around. Next, I have these little wafer ones, and these are the chocolate wafers. So I'm just going to put, if I can get them to come out, so I'm going to put some in here. Just a very simple little biscuit cookie platter. You don't need a lot, you just need enough little things to give some variety. And last, actually, I'm going to switch this around. I'm going to move this here so the cookies aren't side right next to each other. I'll move the cookies here. Sometimes you do that. You're figuring out where everything's going to go. And finally, I have this, and it's just those little biscuits covered in the chocolate. So I'm just going to make a little section with these. Again, you don't get very many of these in the... Oh, I hear my stuff popping. So you don't get too many of these. That's all you get. You get one little package. I know didn't get many, but I thought you'd at least get more than 9. So I'll just set those there. And then I can just get more of these ones here. And add another row here. Just kind of fill in any spaces that are here with these cookies. Like that. And then we've got more of these ones. Add these over a little. Just kind of go around this. Oops. Just kind of go around and get some more in here where they would kind of fit. 2 more of these to put on, like that. And then I've still got more of these wafers here, so they can just sit like this. I always try to separate the wafers so when people go to grab one, they're not getting like 2 or 3 stuck together. As much as it's fun when you're grabbing them out of the box to get them, not all your guests would want that. Like that. And then I've got these other ones here, these chocolate wafers. And the pull tab just pulled off. So I'll open this a little bit differently. Now for these ones, I'm just going to grab, I have a little bowl. It's about the same size as this. I'm just going to, I don't think you saw what I did. I'm just going to turn my camera up. So all I'm going to do is just put the bowl on top and just lift it up and let them come out. And some might be broken. Yeah. That didn't quite work as good as I thought it would. I think it's because some of them were kind of broken, but I'm just going to hold these up and get the last couple pieces out. And then I'm just going to, don't need to put the crumbs in there, but I'm just going to set this right here. Move these wafers because they kind of fell. Put it like that. And there we go. We've got a nice little cookie biscuit platter. Okay, there's my turkey and my ham. And then over here we've got the mini potatoes, the carrots, the mashed yam, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, the gravy, cranberry sauce, stuffing. I got some croissants, the salad, and then there's the deviled eggs my daughter and I had made earlier today. And then over here we have the lemon tarts that she had made. Just come back over here. So there's the turkey and the ham. I'm just gonna turn this around because I think this side of the turkey looks really good. There. So there's the turkey and the ham. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's watching and subscribing, and I will see you all in my next videos. Bye.